Dr. Kira then pressed her clawed hands against the cold metal of the control panel. Her large yellow eyes stared at the screen showing dots moving closer to her station. Each dot was a ship. Each ship meant death. She had been alone on Research Station Quiet Hope for almost 2 years now. The station floated hidden among the broken rocks of a dead solar system. No one lived here anymore. No one had lived here for a very long time. Kira then was one of the last of her people. The Keth Mori had once filled thousands of worlds with their cities and families. They had been explorers and scientists, just like her. But that was before the harvesters came. The harvesters were machines. Big metal ships that ate everything they found. They would come to a planet and take all the people. They would break down the cities and turn everything into more machines. More ships. More death. Her people had tried to fight. They had built weapons and shields. They had made plans and strategies. None of it worked. The machines learned from every battle. They got smarter. They got stronger. One by one, all the Keth Mori worlds went dark. Now there were maybe 50 of her kind left in the whole galaxy. Maybe less. She did not know for sure. The survivors never talked to each other anymore. It was too dangerous. The machines could track their signals. But today the machines had found her anyway. Kira then looked at her readings again. 12 ships were coming toward her station. In 6 hours, they would be here. She had maybe 5 hours before their scanning beams would find her hiding place among the rocks. She could try to run. Her small ship was fast. But the harvesters were faster. And where could she go? Every safe place was getting smaller. Every hiding spot was being found. Her hands shook as she reached for the communication controls. She had not spoken to another living thing in 8 months. Her voice came out rough and strange. Computer, open emergency broadcast channel. The computer made a soft beep. Channel open. Warning, transmission will reveal station location to all receivers. I know, she whispered. Kira then took a deep breath. She began to speak in the old common language that all space travelers once knew. This is Dr. Kira then of the Keth Mori. I am broadcasting from Research Station Quiet Hope in the Vextal system. To anyone who can hear this message, know that my people fought bravely. We were scientists and explorers. We loved knowledge and peace. We were not warriors, but we tried to protect our families. She stopped and looked at the dots on her screen. They were getting closer. The harvesters have found us. In a few hours, there will be one less voice in the darkness. If there are others out there, if anyone still lives free, remember us. Remember that we tried. As she spoke, something strange happened. Her long-range sensors picked up a new signal. Something big was moving in space, far away at the edge of the galaxy. The readings made no sense. The object was huge, bigger than a city. But that part of space was supposed to be empty. No one lived that far out. Without thinking, Kira then turned her transmission toward the strange signal. Unknown contact, this is Dr. Kira then. There are hostile forces in this area. 12 ships, heavily armed. They destroy everything they find. If you can hear this, you must run. Do not come here. Save yourselves. She waited, but heard nothing back. The strange object was too far away. Her signal would take time to reach it. By then, she would be dead. The harvester ships were only 4 hours away now. Kira then walked away from the communication panel and went to her laboratory. The room was filled with her life's work. Studies of ancient civilizations. Maps of dead worlds. Pictures of her family from before the war. She picked up a small crystal from her desk. Inside was a recording of her daughter singing. Her daughter had died 3 years ago when the harvesters found their home world. Kira then was the only one who escaped. I'm sorry, little one, she said to the crystal. I tried to find a safe place for us. A new sound came from the communication room. A voice speaking in a language she had never heard before. The words were strange but somehow warm. The computer was trying to translate. She ran back to the control panel. The translation was rough, but she could understand it. Message received. We hear you. Help is coming. Kira then stared at the screen. The signal was coming from the unknown object at the galaxy's edge. But that was impossible. The signal would take hours to reach there and hours to come back. Yet somehow, someone had answered immediately. Who are you? She transmitted back. What are you? Again, the answer came impossibly fast. We are human. We do not leave people alone in the dark. The word human meant nothing to her. She had never heard of this species before. But something in the way they spoke made her feel something she had not felt in years. Hope. The harvester ships were 3 hours away now. But somewhere in the darkness of space, someone was coming to help. Someone who called themselves human. Someone who said they did not leave people alone. Kira then began shutting down all non-essential systems to hide her station better. She had to survive long enough to meet these humans. She had to know who they were. For the first time in years, she was not completely alone. Captain Jiwon Kim stood on the bridge of the starship New Dawn and looked at the strange message on her screen. The words were being translated by their computer, but some parts still did not make sense. "Play it again, Minho," she said to her communications officer. Lieutenant Minho Park pressed a button. The alien voice filled the bridge. It sounded scared and tired. The computer's translation appeared as text. "This is Dr. Kira then of the Kethmori. The harvesters have found us. If anyone still lives free, remember us." Jiwon had been captain of the New Dawn for 3 years. Her ship was not built for war. It was made for exploring new worlds and meeting new people. Her crew of 60 were scientists and engineers, not soldiers. The New Dawn was humanity's first deep space exploration ship. They had been traveling for 8 months, mapping empty star systems at the edge of the galaxy. Earth was very far behind them now. Dr. Yuna Choi, their alien life specialist, was studying the message. "Captain, this Dr. Kira then mentioned something called harvesters. From the way she speaks, they sound dangerous." "How dangerous?" Jiwon asked. Yuna looked worried. "She says they destroy everything they find. And look at this data she sent." The main screen showed a star map. Dozens of solar systems were marked in red. Each red mark meant a dead world. "All these planets had life once," Yuna explained. "Cities, people, civilizations. Now they are empty. Something killed everyone." Lieutenant Seojun Lee, their navigator, was checking the ship's position. "Captain, we are only 2 days' travel from where that signal came from." Jiwon studied the map again. The pattern of dead worlds formed a line across space. It looked like something had moved from system to system, destroying everything in its path. Said Commander Hyun-woo Nam, her second officer. "Maybe we should go back to Earth. Warn them about these harvesters. By the time we reach Earth, this alien will be dead," Jiwon said quietly. "And we still do not know what these harvesters really are." Chief Engineer Jae-hyun-woo spoke up from his station. "Captain, our long-range sensors show something else. There are ships moving toward that alien's position. 12 of them, traveling very fast." Jiwon felt her heart beat faster. "How long before they reach her?" "About 6 hours." The bridge became quiet. Everyone was thinking the same thing. They could help, but it might be very dangerous. Or they could turn around and run back to Earth to warn humanity. "Captain," said Dr. Choi, "if these harvesters are really destroying entire civilizations, Earth needs to know. We have families back home." Jiwon nodded. That was true. But she also thought about the scared alien voice in the message. Dr. Kira then was alone and facing death. She had asked for nothing except to be remembered. "Soo-young," Jiwon called to their youngest crew member, Ensign Se-young-han. "You have been studying the alien's language. Can we talk to her?" "I think so, Captain. The computer is learning her language patterns. We could send a basic message." Jiwon made her decision. "Send this message, we hear you. Help is coming." Soo-young worked at her station for a few minutes, then looked up. "Message sent, Captain." Commander Nam stepped closer to Jiwon. "Are you sure about this? We do not know what these harvesters can do. We might be flying into a trap." "Maybe," Jiwon agreed. "But that alien is about to die alone, and we are the only ones who heard her call for help." Dr. Choi was still studying the data. "Captain, there is something else. The alien sent scientific information about her species. The Kethmori were peaceful people. They studied planets and stars, just like we do. They never hurt anyone. And now they are almost extinct," added Engineer Wu grimly. Jiwon looked around at her crew. These were good people. Scientists and explorers who had left Earth to find new life and learn about the universe. None of them had signed up for war. "I will not order anyone to come with me," she said. "This is dangerous. Anyone who wants to stay behind can take the shuttle back toward Earth." The crew looked at each other. Then Lieutenant Park spoke for all of them. "Captain, we joined this mission to explore space together. We are not leaving you now." Jiwon smiled. This was why she was proud to be human. When things got dangerous, they stuck together. "Seo-jun, set course for the alien's position. Maximum speed." "Yes, Captain." As the ship turned and accelerated, a new message came from Dr. Kira then. Young translated it, "Who are you? What are you?" Jiwon thought for a moment, then told Young what to send back, "We are human. We do not leave people alone in the dark." Dr. Choi was working with the ship's computer to learn more about the harvesters from the aliens' data. "Captain, I am starting to understand what we are facing. These machines are not just weapons. They are like a disease that spreads from world to world. Can they be stopped?" Jiwon asked. "I do not know. The Keth Mori tried everything. Better weapons, stronger shields, smarter tactics. Nothing worked." Engineer Wu was checking the ship's systems. "Well, maybe they never tried human stubbornness." Jiwon hoped he was right. In 36 hours, they would find out if humans could do something that no other species had managed to do. Stay alive against the harvesters. The new dawn dropped out of hyperspace and Captain Jiwon Kim saw hell. The research station was half destroyed. Pieces of metal floated in space around it like broken bones. Strange geometric ships moved around the wreckage. They were not like any ships Jiwon had ever seen. They looked more like flying buildings made of dark metal and sharp angles. "Life signs?" she asked quickly. Ensign Young hand checked her sensors. Very weak readings from one section of the station. Someone is still alive in there. Dr. Yuna Choi was studying the enemy ships. "Captain, those must be harvesters. They are taking apart the station piece by piece." The harvester ships were strange to watch. They moved without any wasted motion, like machines doing a job. Robot arms reached out from the ships to grab chunks of the station and pull them inside. "They are eating it," whispered Lieutenant Minho Park. "Can we get close enough for a rescue?" Jiwon asked her navigator. Seo-jun Lee checked the readings. "The harvesters do not seem to see us yet. We might be able to get close if we move carefully." Jiwon made her decision. "Take us in." Slowly. The new dawn crept toward the broken station. The harvester ships paid no attention to them. They seemed focused only on taking apart the research station. It took 2 hours to reach the station and find a way inside. Commander Hyun-woo Nam led a small team through the damaged corridors while the rest of the crew waited nervously on the ship. They found Dr. Kira then in a sealed laboratory. She was unconscious and very weak. Her reptile-like skin was pale and she was barely breathing. When they brought her back to the new dawn, Dr. Choi worked quickly to help her. The alien's body was different from humans, but the medical equipment could still help keep her alive. When Kira then finally woke up, her large yellow eyes looked around the human ship with confusion. She tried to speak through a damaged translation device. "You came back," she whispered. "Why did you not run away?" Jiwon sat beside her bed. "Because that is not what humans do." Over the next few hours, Kira then told them about the harvesters. She explained how her people had tried to fight them. "We built the best weapons we could make," she said weakly. "We created perfect defense plans. We used mathematics and logic to predict what they would do. Nothing worked. They learned from every battle and became stronger." Chief Engineer Jae-hyun-woo was listening carefully. "What made them so hard to beat?" "They think like machines," Kira then replied. "They can predict what logical people will do. They know how smart species will react to danger." Dr. Choi was studying data about the harvesters that Kira then had collected. "So they always know what to expect from their enemies." "Yes," Kira then said sadly. "That is why my people lost. We were too predictable." Outside the ship, more harvester vessels were arriving. 12 had become 20. 20 had become 50. "Captain," called Lieutenant Park from the bridge, "the harvesters are moving toward us. I think they finally noticed we are here." Jiwon looked at her crew, then at the weak alien they had rescued. The smart thing would be to run. The logical thing would be to escape and warn Earth about the danger. Instead, she said something that made Kira then's eyes go wide with shock. "We stay and fight." "Captain," Commander Nam said carefully, "our ship is not built for war. We have mining equipment and construction tools, not weapons." "Then we make weapons," Jiwon replied. "Jae-hyun, what can our equipment do?" Engineer Wu thought for a moment. "Well, our mining lasers can cut through metal. Our construction drones could carry explosives. Our gravity manipulators could be turned into traps." "You are all insane," Kira then whispered from her medical bed. "You cannot fight the harvesters with mining tools." Dr. Choi smiled. "Maybe. But humans are pretty good at being insane." What happened next was something the galaxy had never seen before. The humans took their exploration ship and turned it into something completely unpredictable. They welded mining equipment onto the hull to make guns. They programmed construction drones to act like missiles. They used their 3D printers to make armor out of coffee cups and spare parts. Engineer Wu created a weapon from the ship's garbage disposal system. If it can grind up food waste, it can probably grind up robot parts too. Lieutenant Park turned the communication array into a sonic weapon that could confuse harvester sensors. Ensign Han figured out how to make their navigation computer crash into enemy ships on purpose. This should not work, Kira then kept saying as she watched from the medical bay. None of this follows proper military design. Good, said Captain Kim. Maybe that means the harvesters will not know what to expect either. When the first wave of harvester ships attacked, they came in perfect formation. Their weapons fired in coordinated patterns. Their movements followed mathematical precision. The humans responded with chaos. They flew their ship in crazy spirals that made no tactical sense. They fired weapons that had been built from kitchen equipment. They used their industrial fabricators to create mines out of lunch trays and sensor equipment. The harvesters had never seen anything like it. Their attack pattern makes no sense, Kira then said, watching the battle on the medical bay screen. They are fighting like children playing a game. Maybe that is why it is working, Dr. Choi replied. The first harvester ship that got too close was destroyed by a weapon made from coffee makers and quantum sensors. The explosion was completely unexpected. Impossible, Kira then breathed. Captain Kim's voice came over the ship's communication system. All crew, prepare for the next wave. And remember, if it sounds like a stupid idea, it might just be crazy enough to work. Kira then realized something amazing was happening. For the first time in decades, someone was actually winning against the harvesters. And they were doing it by being completely, wonderfully unpredictable. On the third day of fighting, something impossible happened. Dr. Kira then was in the New Dawn's medical bay, still recovering from her injuries. She had been helping Dr. Yuna Choi understand harvester technology when Ensign Si Young Han called from the bridge. Dr. Kira then, you need to hear this. We are getting signals from all over the galaxy. Kira then's heart stopped. That cannot be right. No one talks anymore. It is too dangerous. Come see for yourself, Captain Jiwon Kim said gently. Still weak, Kira then made her way to the bridge with Dr. Choi's help. When she saw the communication screen, she almost fell down. Dozens of signals were coming in from different star systems. The computer was working hard to translate all the different languages. Voices filled the bridge, speaking in tongues she had not heard in years. Is that? She whispered. The Morkali Resistance Fleet, said a deep mechanical voice through the translator. We thought we were the last ones left in the Helix sector. Another voice joined in, high and musical, Yeltharian survivors reporting. We have been hiding in the gas clouds of Zirion for 2 years. A third voice, harsh like grinding rocks, Theknari battle group still fighting in the Outer Rim. We lost hope long ago, but we kept fighting anyway. Kira then's legs gave out. Dr. Choi caught her as she sank into a chair. They are alive, she whispered. They are all alive. Captain Kim stood beside her. Your emergency signal has been bouncing around the galaxy for 3 days. Our communication equipment made it much stronger. We never knew, came another voice, this one speaking her own Kethmori language. I am Velkorin of Research Station Deep Watch. I thought I was the only one left. Tears ran down Kira then's reptilian face. She had not cried in years. There were others. Her people were not extinct. But the joy quickly turned to confusion as more voices joined the network. Humans? Asked Commander Thexdal of the Morkali fleet. We have never heard of your species. Where did you come from? Demanded General KYX Thor of the Theknari. How did you find us? Lieutenant Minho Park was working frantically to keep all the translation systems running. The bridge filled with questions and voices as dozens of species tried to talk at once. Captain Kim raised her hand. Everyone, please listen. We are explorers from a world called Earth. We heard Dr. Kira then's distress call and came to help. Help? The Morkali commander sounded bitter. No one can help against the harvesters. We have been fighting them for 50 years. They are too strong, too smart. They adapt to everything we try, added the Yeltharian speaker. Every weapon we build, every strategy we use, they learn from it and become stronger. Kira then looked at the humans around her. These people had been fighting harvesters for 3 days using weapons made from coffee makers and garbage disposals. And they were still alive. Tell them what you told me, she said to Captain Kim. Kim nodded. The harvesters can predict logical responses. They know what smart tactical thinking looks like. But humans do not always think logically. What do you mean? Asked General KYX Thor. Engineer Jae-hyun Woo laughed from his station. We mean we fight dirty. We use stupid ideas. We make weapons that should not work but somehow do. As if to prove his point, another wave of harvester ships attacked at that moment. The crew of the New Dawn responded with their usual chaos. They fired mining lasers in random patterns. They released a cloud of construction drones programmed to explode like fireworks. They used their ship's 3D printer to shoot coffee cups at the enemy. The harvesters, designed to counter logical military tactics, had no idea how to respond to an attack made from breakfast supplies. The alien voices on the communication network went quiet as they watched the battle through shared sensor data. Impossible, whispered Commander Thexdal. They are winning, said the Yeltharian in shock. With garbage, added General KYX Thor. Captain Kim spoke to the network while dodging enemy fire. We have been sharing our battle data with you for 3 days. Have any of your groups tried working together? The silence that followed was telling. We cannot, explained Velkorin, Kirathen's fellow researcher. If we coordinate, the harvesters will track our signals. They will find all of us. They are going to find you anyway, Dr. Choi said simply. One by one, system by system. Unless you work together. What happened next changed everything. The Morkali commander spoke first. My fleet has 40 ships with plasma weapons. But we have no long-range sensors. The Yeltharians have the best stealth technology in the galaxy, offered their representative. But our ships are small. Theknari battle armor is nearly indestructible, growled General KYX Thor. But we lost most of our fleet years ago. Kira then realized what the humans had done. They had not just saved her life. They had reminded the galaxy's survivors that they did not have to fight alone. I have maps of all the harvester movements in this sector, she said. And research data about their weaknesses. For the first time in decades, the scattered survivors of 100 worlds began to work together. Commander Nam was monitoring the coordination efforts. Captain, this is incredible. They are sharing military data, tactical plans, supply information. It is like watching a sleeping giant wake up. The network grew stronger by the hour. Species that had hidden in fear for years began moving their ships. Ancient alliances were reformed. New strategies were shared. And at the center of it all was the New Dawn, the crazy human ship that had proven something everyone thought impossible. The harvesters could be beaten. What have you done? Kira then asked Captain Kim as she watched the galaxy come alive with coordinated resistance. Kim smiled. We reminded everyone that nobody fights alone. The galaxy had 37 hours left to live. Dr. Kira then stared at the data on her screen with growing horror. After 6 days of coordinated resistance, the survivor network had finally broken into the harvester communication system. What they found there was worse than anyone had imagined. The Great Convergence, she whispered to Captain Jiwon Kim. In 37 hours, every harvester unit in the galaxy will activate at the same time. They will attack every remaining world simultaneously. The Bridge of the New Dawn had become the command center for the largest military operation in galactic history. Voices from hundreds of species filled the communication channels as fleets moved across space. How many harvester units are we talking about? Asked Dr. Yuna Choi. Kirathen's voice was barely audible. Millions. Maybe tens of millions. Spread across thousands of star systems. Admiral Thexdal of the Morkali fleet spoke through the translator. Even with all our forces combined, we cannot fight that many ships. It is impossible. The network fell silent. After 6 days of hope, they were facing the same ending that had always been waiting for them. Total extinction. Captain Kim stood quietly for a long moment, looking at the tactical displays. Her crew watched her, waiting for orders. The entire galaxy was waiting for someone to find an answer. What if we do not fight them? She said finally. Commander Hyun-woo Nam frowned. Captain? The harvesters are machines. They follow programming. What if we change their programming? General KYX Thor of the Theknari sounded angry through the translator. Impossible. Their systems are protected by quantum encryption. It would take thousands of years to break their codes. Chief Engineer Jae-hyun Woo was already working at his station. Maybe not. Captain, remember what we learned about harvester technology? They are all connected. Every ship talks to every other ship. Like a network, said Ensign Si Young Han. Exactly. And we know something about networks now. Wu gestured to all the alien voices on their communication system. If you can get into one part of the network, you can reach all of it. Dr. Choi was beginning to understand. You want to create a virus. Not to destroy them, but to reprogram them. Kira then looked up from her data. The core matrix. There is a central control station at the galaxy center. If we could reach it, we could upload new instructions to every harvester unit at once, Wu finished. The network exploded with voices as hundreds of species tried to talk at the same time. The idea was insane. The core matrix was defended by over 1 million harvester ships. No force in galactic history had ever been strong enough to break through those defenses. It is suicide, declared Admiral Thexdal bluntly. Probably, Captain Kim agreed. But it is also our only chance. What followed was the most desperate military planning session in galactic history. Every surviving species contributed what they could. The Yeltharians would use their stealth technology to hide the attack fleet until the last moment. The Morkali would provide the heavy weapons to break through the outer defenses. The Theknari would lead the ground assault if they could board the Matrix. And the humans would fly straight into the heart of the Harvester network to upload their virus. Why does it have to be humans? Asked Velkorin over the communication system. Engineer Wu was working with Kira then to build the virus program. Because the upload has to be done manually. Someone needs to fly right up to the core and plug our computer directly into their system. It is a one-way trip. And humans are crazy enough to do it, added Lieutenant Minho Park with a sad smile. The attack began 28 hours before the Great Convergence. The combined fleet was the largest gathering of ships in galactic history. Morkali battleships flew alongside Yeltharian stealth craft. Theknari assault vessels moved in formation with tiny Kethmori research ships. Species that had been enemies for centuries fought side by side. At the center of it all was the New Dawn, still patched together with mining equipment and kitchen supplies. The battle lasted 18 hours. The Harvester defenses were everything the survivors had feared. Wave after wave of geometric ships attacked the Alliance fleet. 4 every Harvester destroyed, 2 more took its place. But the galaxy was fighting back with something the Harvesters had never faced before. Unity. Cooperation. And human unpredictability. Yeltharian stealth ships, create a diversion on the left flank, Captain Kim ordered. Morkali fleet, concentrate fire on Sector 7. Theknari forces, prepare for boarding operations. The coordination was beautiful and chaotic at the same time. Like a symphony played by musicians who had never met but somehow knew the same song. The New Dawn broke through the final defense line with only minutes to spare. The ship was badly damaged, held together by emergency repairs and willpower. Core matrix in sight, reported navigator Seojun Lee. The Harvester Central Control Station was enormous. A structure the size of a moon, covered in geometric patterns that hurt to look at. Beginning upload now, Engineer Wu announced as weapons fire tore through their shields. Kira then watched the upload progress on her screen. 70%. 80%. 90%. Upload complete, Wu called out. The change was instant. Across the galaxy, millions of Harvester ships suddenly stopped their attack preparations. For a moment, everything was quiet. Then they began to rebuild. The same efficiency that had destroyed worlds now worked to restore them. Dead planets bloomed with life as the machines became gardeners instead of destroyers. 6 months later, Kira then stood in the council chambers of the new Galactic Alliance. Through the windows, she could see human children playing with young aliens from dozens of species. Captain Kim joined her at the window. Do you ever regret it? Kira then asked. Leaving your safe exploration mission to save us. Kim smiled. Never. This is why humans explore space. Not just to see new things, but to help when help is needed. You saved us all. No, Kim shook her head. We just reminded everyone that the darkness is not so frightening when you do not face it alone. Outside, the children's laughter echoed through the station, a sound of hope in a galaxy that had almost forgotten what hope sounded like.